say if we'll only avoid any confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love it.
So, I set the stage. We got all of our competitors. Everybody's fucking gigantic, old man strong, like looking motherfuckers. And everybody that's paired is pretty close in body size. First off, the energy in that night is electric, okay? All that stuff leading up to it is on everyone's mind because everybody's there is a hardcore fan. So the first match I want to say is... what is the first match? Now, let me tell you that this was a month ago, and I won't be able to give you the exact chronological order, but I think I've got it right in my head. You'll have to go back and ask other people, and if I'm wrong, I'll fucking fix it. I don't give a fuck if I lose the views, or I'll re-upload it, whatever. So, the stage is set, okay? All the drama building up for like a year and a half between Curran Jacobs and Josh Barnett. So Josh Barnett's not there, but his camp is still there, all right? I want to say that the first match was Kenny Lester versus Nicholas Kagia, all right? I could be wrong. Man, I could be wrong. I could be getting this completely backwards, but I think it was Kenny versus Nick Kagia. So these guys are fucking two gigantic dudes. Serious wrestling. Kenny Lester, like I said, looks like a fucking ogre, right? And fucking Nicholas Kagia looks like the fucking Bigfoot. And they go out to wrestle. Kenny Lester comes out there, and he comes out, I think, to the Triple H song, and I love it. You know what I mean? He put some time into it. He like slid into the ring and everything. That was good. I forget what Nicholas Kagia walks out to. But that guy's big. And when they get into the ring, I realized that Nicholas Kagia is a little bit bigger than Kenny Lester. And I didn't know Kenny Lester before this, but he comes from Orlando as well, and he trains at the Jungle, I think, in Lake Mary. And he also trains pro wrestling up there too, but I forget the name of the gym. I'll have to ask him. So that match is crazy. So I'm pretty sure that's the first match. Kenny Lester goes at Nicholas Kagia. You can watch it on Snake Pit USA. I won't spoil the fun for you, but I will tell you that Kenny Lester wins. Now that match is pretty hotly contested in the beginning, but I noticed that Nicholas Kagia gets tired. But that wrestling wears on you. I think it goes 3 rounds. It goes a couple rounds. Kenny Lester, Nicholas kind of goes a couple rounds, and it's explosive, and then it's there's like a little break, and then it's explosive, and then they would try to use the ropes against each other, get a little rest, but the explosiveness I think is outdone, and Kenny Lester gets him to the ground and gets him. And I think it's pin. So the next match is Brandon Ruiz and Jan Zhang. All right. So far, it's been exciting. Kenny Lester put on a good show with Nicholas Kagia. Those guys are good wrestlers, and they're serious. All the guys in the bracket are multiple world champions or have done multiple pro fights. All right. They've been doing this for a long time. They have like a wrestling pedigree from like college and shit like that. Brandon Ruiz is like a 7-time world champion, like under FILA rules and shit like that. There's no joke to these guys. And then John Zhang is, I think, multiple Naga champion and stuff like that. And he, like I said, looked like a fucking Terminator. Brandon Ruiz looks like a gorilla. They both walk in. Brandon Ruiz, the gorilla, had a more thought into his walk in the music that he played. I don't understand what happened with John Zhang, or I could be getting that twist. I'll have to look at the video, but this is all off memory, all off the top, son, off the top of the dome. Cuz they get in there, and that is a fucking explosive match. Brandon Ruiz is tossing him around. John Zhang is tossing him around. They're going to the ground. And one of the things that I want to highlight is that these guys can't go to their back. They can get pinned. So there is no fucking stalling. If you're wrestling, you are wrestling the entire gosh darn time. There is no stopping. And if you're stopping, it's in turtle position with them on top, or we call it defense position or referee position, whatever you want to call it. They don't go to the back. They go to the turtle position because they need to stand up because you can get pinned on the ground. And you don't want to stay in turtle because you're there constantly looking for rear naked chokes or rear naked strangles or face lock, whatever you like, whatever your school likes or whatever you like to call it. So these guys are fucking on top of each other, wrestling each other off. The first round in Brandon Ruiz, John Zhang, hotly contested, goes back and forth, no one wins. Second round is going back and forth, but Brandon Ruiz is getting the better of the exchanges. He gets on top of John Zhang, riding him out, gets him in a front face lock or a front choke, front headlock choke, maybe a guillotine, or maybe it was I don't know what it was, can't really see it, but he chokes him unconscious standing, and he puts him on the ground. Right, he kind of slumps down like a bag of potatoes, and he's a heavy man. And to his best, and to his credit, Brandon Ruiz does his best to put him down nicely. But as Chael Sonnen would say, he walks away with his hands raised. I don't know if he tapped out, and that counts, or if going unconscious counts as a win or lose. But I know that Brandon Ruiz walks away with his hands raised. So he walks away with his hands raised, okay? And I don't know if he taps, but the bell rings. And they go to another round. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure Brandon Ruiz just choked him unconscious and won that round, and there was a tap right before he went unconscious. But they go to a third round. See, what happened in the earlier part of the day, in the maybe you call it amateur, but everybody was fucking pro there. Victor Henry is a quintet veteran, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. is a monster. But that aside, and whether there was you can follow this guy Nick_Nate93. So everybody there in the daytime were pros, but maybe they went by more amateur rules where it was best at 2 out of 3. But if there's a winner by the second round, then they'll just probably end the match for the time's sake. So if there's one round goes to one person and round 2 goes to another person, then they'll do sudden death. See, maybe I didn't explain this to you before. But it wasn't relevant up until just about where I'm about to get in the story. Was in the catch wrestling rules, it goes like this. Best 2 out of 3 rounds. Best 2 out of 3 rounds, like a Street Fighter game. Best 2 out of 3. First to 2. Alright? But in amateur rules, it's first to 1. You can win by choke. You can win by joint manipulation. You can win by, whatever you want to crank. Whatever you want. No holds bar. You can get the finger and you can crank it. Just no fucking physicality, no eye gouging, and obviously no going strikes. There's no strikes at all, obviously. In the amateur rules, if there's somebody that wins something in the first 2 rounds and the other person doesn't win anything, then they'll just usually call it. And I'm pretty sure that those are the rules during the day. Maybe they changed it during the night because they're professionals, give them a little bit more credit to them. They're pros. You know what I mean? Gotta let them get redemption of their honor and then take it to sudden death. But if no one wins any round, then you fucking keep going indefinitely. 5-minute round, 1 minute rest. 5-minute round, 1 minute rest until somebody fucking wins. All right? No fucking bullshit. No pussies. If you don't fucking win, you fucking keep going, alright? No fucking points, no none of this. You either pin him or you put him down with a submission. That's pretty badass. Now that that's played out, let's get to the story. So, Brandon Ruiz chokes out John Zhang. John Zhang hits the floor like a sack of potatoes. We think it's over. This is a fucking, like, a stand-up and, like, what the fuck just happened moment. Everybody's standing up. Everybody's like, holy crap, what just happened? And I guess, within that minute, John Zhang is able to get to it, gets fresh, gets into the match, and they go again. And I'm pretty sure Brandon Ruiz gets him again with another submission. Match goes to Brandon Ruiz. Good victory. Clean in the first 3 rounds. I want to say the same thing with Kenny Lester and Nicholas Kagia. So Kenny Lester, Brandon Ruiz, they're in the semifinals. On the other side of the bracket, it's Pete Stano versus Eric Hammer. Now, Eric Hammer comes out and he looks like fucking One Punch Man, and then Pete Stano comes out and he's definitely got some people in the crowd, and he's got some support in the crowd. So props to him. But he's looking a little bit older, but that he's in good shape, and he's got the old man strength. Match goes on, and you see Eric Hammer is a fucking beast. Pete Stano is keeping up, but I don't think he's able to keep it up all the way.
Ha! Gay!
And by the second bell, Pat Stano can't go and answer the bell. So match goes to Eric Hammer. Eric Hammer is the winner. He got like 2 or 3 rounds in there, and then boom, it's on to Curran Jacobs and Johnny Buck. Curran Jacobs comes out to some awesome music. I think it's some Irish music or some Scottish music. I can't remember. And pardon me if I didn't know. The entrance is well thought out. There is some fans of him, but you can tell that most catch wrestling fans outside of his fans were like, very skeptical of Curran Jacobs. Everybody's sort of behind the face that is Josh Barnett. He's the face of catch wrestling, if you will. He's other than Sakuraba, he's the most notable Westerner that is a competitor and successful and under the banner that is catch wrestling. So, guess who comes out in Johnny Buck's corner? Josh Barnett. See, I don't know how they're related, or if they're running, like, if he's Johnny Buck's a former student, or they've been friends, or whatever it is, or there was just a handshake behind the closed doors, like we're gonna ally against Curran Jacobs, whatever it is. Because I saw in one of the catch wrestling groups on Facebook, I'll see if I can catch some screenshots, that there is some shit talking between Curran Jacobs and Johnny Buck. And I think that Johnny Buck had said something like he was gonna pull guard, and then Curran Jacobs like said, "Oh, see, like, why are you even in a catch wrestling tournament if you're trying to pull guard and be wrestling me, bro? Do you like even lift, bro? Do you even wrestle, bro?" But I know that Johnny Buck's a good wrestler, and so it was interesting to see that in build up. So there was already like compounded controversy in this one matchup with Curran Jacobs. See, I don't know what it is about that guy, but he's got that useful energy. He's the Thundercat, he's the young gun, and he's coming in to take names, bring home belts, be carrying that 10-pound of gold around his waist. So Johnny Buck gets in the ring, and you're like, what the fuck is Johnny Buck under Josh Barnett? Why he's in his corner? Boom, okay. All right, and then Curran's in his corner, and they wrestle. All right, that match is hotly contested. There is clubbing, and there is like, you can definitely tell like they are going fucking at it. There's marks on fucking Curran Jacobs. I'm pretty sure Johnny Buck had like a guard, like a full like long sleeve rash guard. But Curran Jacobs was wearing the shorts, and he's got the marks all over him, and they're going fucking hard. They're going fucking hard, dude. There are no jokes. Man, they're busting each other up. And this goes on round 1. Round 2, they're tying up. And one of the things that I believe it was Jimmy McCann or Christopher Crossan, they have a really interesting point. And I believe it was one of the two, or it could have been Bad News Winters, Coach Bad News Winters. They said, did you notice that everybody was tying up? They weren't going for shots. Now, first of all, they're in a ring, which is canvas and on top of wood, but it's a little bit bouncy. But already right there, I'm not taking any shots without knee pads because I'm a little bitch. But that's okay. I know my fucking weaknesses and strengths. Do you? But meanwhile, it's on the canvas, and everybody's fucking gigantic and strong and heavy. No one's taking a shot like that. So everybody's tying up, and that was a good point. Those are the small, so they're actually shooting on each other a little bit, but there's a lot of like contested wrestling, and then like takedowns. In that, the technical takedown, you get somebody and 2 points. But there's like a lot of like back and forth, and they're giving each other looks on submissions, but it just goes back and forth for a really, really long time, and it's really close. And you think it's going to end, and it doesn't. It's round 2, round 3, it goes again. Their cardio is ridiculous. They're going fucking hard, 5 minutes every time, and like when they rest, it's like one of them is on top and grinding the other one out. Like that person can't breathe, or he's got him in a tight headlock with the shoulder pressure down on the back of the head, and that squeeze on the ribs. You got the elbows. You know what I'm talking about? If you're a martial arts competitor, you know about somebody being in side control or in top and just crushing force. You know what I mean? These guys are fucking pros. So this goes again and again and again. Round 4, round 5, round 6. Now round 6, I felt as though Johnny was a little bit more winded than Curran Jacobs, or Curran Jacobs wanted him more. Whatever it was, the wrestling, it looks to me, I think that pretty much every round, everybody, they were both coming out about the same energy. And that last round, it seemed like Curran Jacobs came out still wanting to win, and Johnny Buck just like was worn down. All credit to him, he went more rounds than any other match before him. And they go to round 6. Johnny Buck is looking a little tired, just a tiny bit, not like a bio one. His cardio's bad. No, he's just looking like, if like this is how I'm going, like normally this is how he's going this time, just a little bit less. But he's there. He's like what? And then just like, he's still there. He's got that bounce, but it's just like a half step, just like not even of tiredness. That was a little less powerful than Curran Jacobs. That one round, he takes his back. Curran Jacobs takes his back. They get out of the ropes. They bring him back to the middle. He has his back when he gets back. And almost finishes him. And then it does, I think the round ends, or he gets out. And so it goes to round 6. That happened in round 5. Round 6, that's what I'm talking about. I'm fucking retarded. I don't know what's wrong with me. He gets his back. Boom, puts in the choke, finishes him. Can't stop it. Can't stop the rear naked choke. It's Mataleo for a reason. It fucking kills lions. So, it was, and you can ask anybody at the time. You can ask Brett, you can ask Justice. Who did I think was going to go to the end? I think Curran Jacobs and Brandon Ruiz is going to go to the end. Brandon Ruiz is a fucking gorilla, and Curran Jacobs is the young gun. I just don't know how to explain it. He's got the fire, the want. I am the tiger. I am the tiger, baby. I am the tiger. So Curran Jacobs got the eye of the tiger. He wins his first match. End of the first round altogether. Second round, semifinals, comes back. So Curran Jacobs, after the first part of the bracket, has to go again after like a 10-minute, 15-minute break against Eric Hammer, who had 2 rounds in his first match of the bracket. So I'm like, all right, well, already after the Curran Jacobs first match, I'm like, that guy's tired. There's no way he's going to be able to take on whoever he has to go against, who I didn't know at the time. I'm not looking at a bracket in front of me at the time. I'm just watching. And, man, I'm like, there's no way Curran Jacobs is going to do it. And then he goes against Eric Hammer, who's fucking fresh, who waited through the entire waited through the entire Curran Jacobs match, so resting while Curran Jacobs went hard as hell against Johnny Buck. I'm like, there's no way. So Eric Hammer goes against Curran Jacobs. They get into the ring, comes out to the music again, Curran Jacobs. I'm pretty sure it's the Irish music. And then Eric Hammer comes out, or vice versa, whatever it was. They get into the ring, and it's already like, guess who's in Eric Hammer's corner? Josh Barnett. Here we go again. So Eric Hammer has that going in there. He's got that heavy, that weight on his shoulders a little bit, representing Josh Barnett, the face of catch wrestling, if you will. And he's going against Curran Jacobs, the guy who's been not putting respect on his name, on his friend's name, Josh Barnett.
Nigga, when my name come up, respect it.
Let's go.
Stop playing with my fucking name. All three of y'all, stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna say it no more.
Eric Hammer comes out to his music. Curran Jacobs comes out to his Irish music. It's serious. It's only been a couple of minutes for Curran Jacobs in his rest. He went hard as hell against Johnny Buck. 6 rounds. It's 30 minutes of wrestling. Eric Hammer went not even 2. So I'm already discounting Curran Jacobs. So they're in the ring. Match is about to start. Curran Jacobs goes to shake his hand. No shaking of hands in this one. No shaking hands. Johnny Buck shook his hand. Definitely at the end, Johnny Buck shook his hand again, too. In respect, they embraced. Good match. Love to see that sportsmanship. Eric Hammer, Curran Jacobs goes there. No handshake. No handshake. This is fucking serious. No games. And I respect it. I'd rather see the handshake, but you know what? I enjoy that juicy drama. Tastes good. So Boom. All that's on there. The pressure is coming in. It's electric in the building. No one wants to say anything. Is it just me? I've started multiple slow claps in there. In that. If you hear a slow clap in any of those matches, this guy right here, and Brett on my left, and then Justice on my right. So the 2018 Catch World Wrestling Championship, second part of the bracket. Second round. About to begin, no shaking of hands. They go in there, boom. They're wrestling like hard as fudge, bro. Any marks that were already there from Johnny Buck are completely like not even like compared to what Eric Hammer is doing. They're at one point it really looks like Eric Hammer straight up punches Curran Jacobs in the fucking face. Straight up clocks him in the jaw. Like they go back and forth. They're grappling, and they're throwing each other to the fucking hard canvas and wood below them. You hear that clack, clack, clack. You know what I mean? Like, you've been to an MMA match or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But they throw him down. Eric Hammer's getting most of the exchanges early here in the first round, going back and forth. And I think at the end of the first round, Curran Jacobs gets him in a double wrist lock, or the Kimura to the uninitiated, and they start rolling, and they roll underneath the ropes, and from this is like underneath him, he's getting on top. Eric Hammer rolls through. Curran Jacobs pulls it again. He rolls over again, and then Eric Hammer falls all the way out of the fucking ring. Curran Jacobs still in the ring, gets him out of the hold, and it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's some kind of shoving match that happens in there between two people, like and then like the most of Curran Jacobs fans are right in front of me right there, and they're all yelling, and they've been getting riled up all night, and I don't hear what they're saying because I'm trying to focus on the match, and like we're at a wrestling match, people yell stuff, but people are getting mad at them, and they're getting mad at them, and it's great. The drama's at an all-time high. It's so much fucking pressure going on right now. And I can understand if they're the fans, if they're their teammates, if they're fans or teammates, they should be able to say whatever the hell they want. And then I think at one point, Joel Bain comes out there and gives them like a tongue lashing, because I think they might have been saying some inappropriate stuff, which I understand where Joel comes from too. You know what I mean? If somebody got to check somebody, it's Joel Bain. He's a fucking beast of a man. And I understand. Like Coach Joel Bain would say, we're all part of a dysfunctional family. Sometimes we get into fights, but we shake hands at the end of the day. So Eric Hammer gets out of the ring. It's a little bit controversial. He rolls out underneath the ropes, but he's going with the motion. That's how I would do it. Goes out of the ring. There's a little bit of shoving, yelling. They get back in the ring. They go back again. All right. But I think they start from neutral. That match keeps going. And the first round, no one wins. Second round, they're going back and forth. Once again, there's a lot of types, not a lot of shots. But because Curran Jacobs is a little smaller, his like center of gravity is a little bit lower, he's able to, like, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's able to push back against these guys and put them against the ropes so he can rest on them and like make them carry their weight, which is nuts. And like I said, they're doing a lot of like holding, a lot of wrestling, a lot of tie-ups, not a lot of shots. And somehow, at the end of round 2, once again, Curran Jacobs is on top somehow, and he has Eric Hammer's back, and he's about to finish the sleeper hold. He's got a fucking straight up rear naked choke. It's all the way in. There's 10 seconds. They're hitting the mat. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody's, and then like his fans and his teammates or whatever, they come up to them. They're smacking the top of the fucking ring. It's going crazy. I'm standing up. He's like choking him. He's choking him, and the bell rings and he taps, or he taps and the bell rings. I don't know. I was in my seat. It looked like he tapped right after the bell, like a second, like ding, ding, just like that, ding. Now I'm saying ding first, and I'm tapping, and it looks to me on this video that I'm tapping like before. So I'm not even sure. But it is what it is. Round 2 over. Round 3. Here we go. They're still fucking exploding. They're still fucking going. All over the place, just wrestling, and they're both in the best, I would say the best shape of both sides of the back. I mean, the best looking shape.
Gay!
Brandon Ruiz may not look like he's fucking a bodybuilder or some shit, but he's definitely in good shape. But that aside, they're the best aesthetically. Like, they look like they'll have the best physique or whatever. Man, that didn't come out right. And this match is intense. Round 3 goes by. I can barely even remember, because round 4 comes by, and Eric Hammer's just a little bit tired. Once again, not like crazy tired, just a little bit tired. And Curran Jacobs is able to get a hold of him, get his back, and once again he's almost like he's like rolling out of underneath the ring. And I gotta give him credit, even if he wasn't doing it intentionally, but if he was, I gotta give him credit. That's a legitimate fucking strategy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you can get a warning, maybe like the ref will give him a warning a couple times, but if he wasn't doing it all the time, but he did it a couple of times, and maybe that, space is space. You got to go the direction you got to go. But got to give him credit. If that was a strategy, that was a good strategy, because he almost got out of the ring. Referee stops, starts him in the middle, but with Curran Jacobs having his back again, I'm pretty sure, and they fight for it. Or am I getting that confused with Johnny Buck? And whatever happens, no, I remember. He gets like a duck under, he gets his back, takes him to the ground, or they fall to the ground. He like fights on top, finishes the choke. Curran Jacob beats Eric Hammer One Punch Man. Eric Hammer, his fucking names are already fucking epic, and he's a gigantic One Punch Man, and he gets beaten by fucking Curran Jacobs. Big upset for me. I'm like, you can watch that video, and I'll in the background, and maybe I'll even put it in here. And you see me stand up and going this, wearing this exact shirt. I made the shirt myself. Make hip hop great again. And I stand up and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? And they're both on their knees there, just like completely exasperated from the match. And Eric Hammer shakes Curran Jacobs' hand. Wow. Couldn't have writ it any better than that in a professional wrestling. This is crazy. And you know what? Curran Jacobs says stop. There's like some jeering from his side of the crowd, and he's like, stop. And he goes over and he shakes Josh Barnett's hand. Whoa, what a crazy story. And it's not even done, because the next match is Kenny Lester versus Brandon Ruiz. Now, I'm not sure if it was like it went directly to Curran Jacobs. I'm pretty sure it went Curran Jacobs back-to-back matches, both fucking long as hell, or it was Kenny Ruiz versus Brandon Ruiz first. But whichever it was, Kenny Lester comes in there once again. Triple H loving it, loving the gimmick. Brandon Ruiz comes in there, and they wrestle, and it's only one round, and Brandon Ruiz gets him. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Kenny Lester, I think he blew out his the muscles, hip flexors. I think he blew them out, and I think it was because he just was handling the weight of Nick Kagia, just handling his weight. I talked to him later. He was like, man, my hip flexors, I could barely stand. And I understand Nick Kagia is a beast of a man. That guy is a giant of like, all those guys are gigantic. So I don't understand how they were still standing after one match, and I don't understand how Curran Jacobs was going that long. So Brandon Ruiz takes out Kenny Lester, and that's it. Kenny Lester is done. So Kenny Lester and Brandon Ruiz go about one round. Brandon Ruiz is still pretty fresh. Dominant performance in this round. Kenny Lester blew out his hip flexors and maybe his quads too. Talking to him later, I totally understand. And thinking about it, Nick Hager is a huge dude that just fucking wrestled for fucking 3 rounds, 4 rounds, however long they went. So, the stage is set for the finals. Brandon Ruiz, the man gorilla, and Curran Jacobs, the young gun, shooting from the hip, trying to take here the 2018 Catch World Championship belt home with him. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you like the content that you've seen and want to see more, go to patreon.com/ArthurFantastic or click the link in the description below. One-time donations or pledging any amount of money is definitely appreciated, from $1 to however much you can get. Thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later. Oh my god. My eyes. I fucking looked straight into the fucking light. Gosh darn it. Alright. I'm so blind.